The next thing I wanted to talk about was the Seth Rogen Ninja Turtle movie that is coming out. And if you don't know about this, Seth Rogen is writing a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, or I think he's directing it, that is extremely, extremely stylized. Um, and you guys wanted me to talk about Puss in Boots, and in talking about Puss in Boots, I'm going to be talking about Spider-Verse because I adore that movie. And I'll tell you why when we watch this. It's not loading. Anyway, the cast for this movie is stacked, like just stacked. Yeah, it almost looks like claymation. There's a lot of comic booky claymation style that I like. I don't see why it's not loading. Anyway, but yeah, the cast for this movie is nuts. It's Seth Rogen. Uh, the main four turtles are kids, which I'm actually a little surprised about, but um, I am happy. I mean, they're teenagers, so it makes sense. Jackie Chan, Rose Byrne, Giancarlo Esposito, who is amazing, John Cena, Ice Cube, Paul Rudd, Post Malone, Hannibal Buress, Maya Rudolph. Let me see if this will load now.
Leo, what happened? Is Donnie bleeding? It was an accident. Mikey, watch out!
That's awesome. They look so good. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. Into the Spider-Verse has sent us into an animation renaissance. It's happening, whether you like it or not. It is the Toy Story of our generation. All right. It is one of the best comic book movies ever, and it is one of the best animated movies ever. I've said it before. I'll say that's the hill I'm dying on. Do you see how not Disney this is? Do you see how not Pixar this is? For some reason, actually, I know exactly the reason. We fell into this norm of hyper realizing animation. We want it to look exactly like people do, right? If you look at the Sea Beast, which is nominated for an Oscar Best Animated Feature, and I'm not ripping on the Sea Beast. I'm not ripping on it. I promise. Everyone has to look real, right? Looking at the Sea Beast, like, these look like people, you know? And that's not bad, you know? It's not a bad thing to have hyper realism in animation. But what's so cool about the medium of animation is that is the lengths that you can go with it, right? You can stylize things, you can, do things in animation that you can't do in real life because of the medium, right? And to restrain it to look like realism is shooting yourself in the foot, right? So then I see stuff like this, and I'm like, whoa, this is like because the Ninja Turtles were always comic book, TV characters, right? That's like just who they were. So to see stuff like this is amazing. They look not interpreted, but it's not just they don't just look like people, and I love that. And that there's such a childlike charm to them that I feel like the Ninja Turtles were always kind of missing in like modern iterations. Um, I feel like oftentimes it's easy to make the the Ninja Turtles like brooding, almost like Batman, right? And that's that's not. I think that has its place also, but they are teenagers, right? Have them act like teenagers, and I think having Seth Rogen on this is probably gonna work in their favor. And I've said this before. I've said this mainly about Star Wars, but when you let people who love up an IP work on that IP, the stories that you get and the versions that you get of those characters are so much more pure because it comes from a place of love, right? Animation is not supposed to be real. It's supposed to be animated, right? Oh my god, look at that! Okay, so immediately the things that I notice here, and I'm gonna make it full screen so you guys can see it. Look at the shadowing on the the garage doors. They're just drawn in. It's scribbled. That's so cool. That's so great. The shadow on the taxi are just little squiggles. This is a comic book movie. This is exactly what this is. I love this. This is great. This is really really great. I love this. Oh, Puss in Boots. Right, we were talking about Spider-Verse and Puss in Boots. Um, it is another example, and I'll come back to it, of Spider-Verse springboarding animation into something new. The blending of 2D and 3D animation is something that I feel has been underutilized in recent years and is right now becoming what it could be, and I love that. But like this is from the opening sequence of the movie, and if you haven't seen it, it's very very good. Um, just look at this, look at this, look at this. He's running, and there are little like effects on the screen from him running. Ah, it's amazing. Look at it. It's like street marks. It's so comic booky. I love it. Ah, it's amazing. Look, look at this. The 2010s could never, never. The 2010s could never. It's it's so good. It's so good. I love it so much. Anyway, let's do some gaming. How about that? How about we do some gaming?